welcome to the Holiday and Cruise Clinic. I'm Jemma Gofton with another edition of the programme that aims to make your next cruise or holiday as problem-free and relaxing as possible. So if you have a holiday, cruise or travel-related question, here's how to get in touch. OK, you can search for us on Facebook and Twitter. All you need to do is search for the Holiday and Cruise channel. You can also send your questions in on our website, www.holidayandcruisechannel.co.uk. Or what about the good old-fashioned way? Write us a letter. The Holiday and Cruise channel, Cavendish House, Brighton Road, Liverpool, L22 5NG. Now, record-breaking numbers of Brits are opting to take a cruise holiday over a land-based holiday. So, why are cruise holidays becoming more and more popular? And if you're new to cruising, then what can you expect when you step on board? Will there be plenty to do? What are the different cabin types? How do you pay for drinks? Well, here to give us a real unique insight into cruise holidays is broadcaster John Cooper. This is such a pleasure for me, John. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me.
Well, we've got tons of viewers' questions for you today, so I hope you've done your homework.
All right, let's.
Okay. Shall we delve right in?
Let's delve in.
We've got Sheila from Grimsby.
Yeah.
And she's going on her first cruise holiday next Christmas.
Oh.
Can you tell her what it's going to be on board in the day? What is there to do on board in the day?
There is so much to do on board, especially being around Christmas time as well. It'll all be themed, so there'll be lots of themed things. There'll be quizzes, there's dance classes, wine tasting, cookery classes. There's just fun things to do all day long. Plus there's shows. There's just, it's also some... cruise lines, they organise deck games depending on what the weather is, where the ship is. So there's all those sort of things happening all the time as well. Plus, as I say, there's the little port lectures, and they have, you say lectures, and you instantly think, oh, school, but it's not like they're really interesting people who've done something with their lives. And I've been on the one who've had people like Anna Whitcomb on, or the ex-pilot of the Concorde, and things like that, who really tell you about interesting things. Then you also have port talks about what to do with the next port of call you're going to as well. So when you arrive there, you'll know where to go, what to do, what the best advice is, and all that type of thing as well. So there's plenty going on if you want to do it. But if you just want to relax and take it easy, spend time by the pool or in the spa or in the jacuzzi or in the gym, you can do that. It's all up to you.
And Sheila won't be missing out on Christmas, will she? There'll be Christmassy things going on?
It will be. The whole Christmas thing is really, really done well. If she's going on a British cruise, it'll be Christmas just as she knows it, with all the trimmings and what have you. If she's going on a more international cruise ship, one of the American ships or European ships, it'll be slightly different, but they'll cater for the British as well. But you will not miss out on Christmas. It'll be Christmas plus.
Oh, fabulous. I think we might join Sheila. Now, we've got Rodney and Iris from Nottingham. Thank you so much for sending in your question. Now, they haven't cruised before and they're a bit sceptical about it because what's included in the fare? Is it full board? What do we do about tips? I mean, it can make people panic.
It can do. I think, for me, before I went on my first cruise, I had all those worries as well. And the thing you've got to remember is, first of all your food's included. And it's not just food. It's so much food, and it's not quantity as well, it's quality. It really is good quality food. You're talking about, breakfast, and breakfast, there's a buffet, or you can have it served if you want. Then lunchtime, you can either go to the buffet or you can be served. Evening meal, once again, most people go for the served service, but you can go for a buffet as well. There's a room service, and a lot of the cruise lines include room service free of charge. So if you get the munchies at 4 o'clock in the morning, hello, and they bring it to you.
And also you could be tired if you've been on an excursion all day. You don't want to get dressed up. You might just want to stay in the cabin.
That's exactly what I did once. I was in Civitavecchia, got back from Rome, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Just, but it's too early, it's too late. So I had room service, and it's brilliant for that. So that's included in the price. Of course, your comfortable accommodation, and the cabin stewards really look after you, and they look after everything. It's so well done. And then there's the entertainment, and I'm talking lavish entertainment. Depends from cruise ship to cruise ship what sort of entertainment they do. On the British cruise liners, it's all very much comedians that you know and love, singers, dancers. On some of the big ships, they'll have lavish entertainment. I mean, really lavish. And people that you'll know. I've been on cruises lately on big cruise ships where, like, Dean Freeman was on, who had the big hit in the 70s with Lucky Stars. He was on the big stars all the time. You just want to get on and you think, wow, I can't believe all these people have come to entertain me. And of course, because they're on board, you see them around the ship as well. So you meet the entertainers. So that's included in the price. And all the activities I was talking about before, they're all included in the price. There's a gym that's, really state-of-the-art gyms. They're all included in most of the different... They vary from size to size, from cruise line to cruise line, but that's included. Now, when it comes to tips, that varies from cruise line to cruise line once again. The British cruise lines tend to be about £5 per person per day is what they recommend. And what they do is they'll take that, you have an onboard account, and towards the end of the cruise, they'll take that off your onboard account. Now, if you don't want them to, you just go to the front desk and say, excuse me, I don't believe I've had the service, and it's put back on. There's no argument with that. But the way I always look at tipping is... the tips get split between the waiting on staff and also the people who look after your bedroom, the cabin stewards who pick up your towel off the floor and
Oh, John, we're getting a glimpse of you now, leaving your towel on the floor.
Towels everywhere, don't believe me, and t-shirts as well. But so they do all that, and I often think, if I went for a 5-course gourmet meal in a restaurant, at the end of it, would I leave a £2.50 tip?
Well, I'd hope not.
Well, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like, it's nothing, is it? £2.50.
So that, and I think you've got to equate it to that.
Yes.
If I'd had a 5-course gourmet evening meal served to me, if I'd had lunch served to me, would I leave a tip? And I think the drinks behind the bar, would you have tipped someone? It's always I'll have so and have one for yourself. Because it's a cashless society, you can't do that, so that's the way of doing it. So on the American ships, it varies. It's obviously dollars, and in European ships, it's in euros. But I say most UK ships expect about £5 a day.
Oh, which is next to nothing, really. So what we'd say to Rodney and I is, feel free to ask about how the tipping's done.
What the best thing to do is, when you're booking your cruise, ask the questions then. There's no one trying to hide anything from you, because it's just, if you don't know, you don't know. So when you're booking your cruise, just ask the question, can you tell me what the tips are on board? And you'll be told straight away. So just ask the person who you're booking with, and they'll be able to tell you straight away.
Fabulous. OK, Paul from Bristol, thank you for sending us a question in. Now, this is really a question that might have come from me, if I'm honest. He wants to know about what to wear. Is there a dress code in the day and the evening? He's going on his first Carnival cruise next month. This is what actually frightens the life out of me, not having the right wardrobe. Because do I get dressed up? Do I not get dressed up? What do I wear in the day?
It does vary from cruise line to cruise line. During the day, virtually all cruise lines are casual, really casual, just as though, you're on holiday.
So if you were the sort of walking to the beach and things
that is absolutely fine, and that's exactly how most people dress during the day. Then of an evening, things change, and it varies from ship to ship. With Carnival, it's a lot more relaxed atmosphere, and so therefore, as long as a pair of jeans with a shirt, you're fine. They do have what they call their dress to impress nights, where you'll dress to impress your finery, and people like to do that. And they'll have about 1 or 2 of them in a week-long cruise. Other cruise lines do more formal nights, and that's where you'll need, or you won't need, but most people use it for the fellas. It's a black tie, or black tie. The ladies wear a cocktail dress and dress up, and then have a captain's night and that sort of thing. That's on. Quite a few of the other cruise lines do that, especially the British cruise lines tend to do that once or twice a week while you're away. The rest of the evening, it's smart. The other evening, it's smart casual. So gentlemen, maybe open neck shirt, a pair of trousers. Some cruise lines don't like to use jeans in the main restaurant of an evening, but you can do it if you want to go to the buffet. So it's things like that. But I say, once again, the person you're booking your cruise with, and depending on the cruise line you're booking with, they will certainly tell you and advise you what the dress code is. Don't be frightened of it.
Exactly, because I'm sure they're used to being asked these questions, so don't be embarrassed to ask. No. You don't want to get it wrong.
No, you see, the thing is, it's all about making you feel comfortable, and the cruise lines want you to feel. And once you've booked your holiday, and no matter which cruise line you booked it, they will send you lots of information. You'll get a little book, well, I said book about this thick, telling you all about the cruise, what day your formal nights on, if there are any formal nights, what to bring, what you can't bring, and things like that. So it's all things, whether you need a 3-pin plug or, you need a 2-pin plug, stuff like that. So they'll send you all that information before you go on holiday. So you can be uber organised, have a little flick through there. Now, Jennifer Clare from Hull, we've answered your question about tips and gratuity, so I hope we've covered that well for you. So we'll crash on to Dave from Kendal. First cruise holiday from Southampton. Now, is there, or
any luggage restrictions because you're not going on a flight? So that can be a confusing one. Are you allowed to take as much as you want?
More or less, yes. Obviously, like airlines, cruise lines have different rules and regulations. The vast majority of them are, if you can take it and get into your cabin, you can take it. So that's it. There are one or two that say, yes, we do have a weight restriction and it's something like 90 kilos. Well, 90 kilos is an awful lot. When you think...
So it's 22 sometimes on a flight, isn't it? So
that's generous.
Yeah.
Most is 20.
Oh, is
so
it?
20, 40, 60, 80. It's 5.5 suitcases.
Yeah.
Or five
I should
suitcases.
be all right with that, John.
So you should go a couple of pair of shoes in there.
I'd just be fine with that.
Yeah.
Okay, so again, check, but as a rule...
But generally, if you can take it, you can get it. And I'll tell you what, the difference between checking in for a cruise holiday and checking in at an airport is, you turn up at Southampton and they just take your luggage off you. As you pull up out at the door, they take your luggage off you. And the next time you see it's in your stateroom, they do all the portering for you. And if you're going down by coach, you'll get on the coach, and when you get to Southampton, the port of Southampton, you'll just get off the coach and you'll never see your luggage. You'll just go straight to your room.
Oh, that's service for you. So there you go, Dave. Your wife, and this is not me quoting, your wife can take as many pairs of shoes as she wants. That's not me. Now, if you're new to cruising and this is our first time guide to cruise holidays, it's absolutely free. Give us a call. The number is 03330 032 216. Now, calls will be charged at standard national rates, and you can also ask for a copy through our website, www.holidayandcruisechannel.co.uk. Whilst you're asking for this, we'll take a quick break. See you shortly. Welcome back to the Holiday and Cruise Clinic. It is lovely to have you with us. Now, in today's programme, we're answering your cruise questions, and John Cooper is still with me. John, got so many more questions. I'm going to go straight in. Now, this is an interesting one from Richard from Kent. Now, he wants to know, please can you tell me why cruise prices vary so much? Now, what happened was he booked to go to the Caribbean. 3 months later, the cruise line reduced the price by £300 per person.
Well, like anything, everything is controlled by supply and demand. And what can happen is it can go the opposite way, by the way, and quite often it does go the opposite way to that, where they'll put the fare out to what they think they'll sell it at, and then it gets to a date, and it depends on how many people have booked onto that cruise, and it's very much like the airlines do at the same time. Now, with a cruise, once it goes, it's gone. And if you've gone with 100 empty cabins on board and it's on a 14-night cruise, that's 14 nights you will never, ever get back off 100 cabins, because you can't pick people up at the next port.
Of course.
So therefore, what they do is they reduce them. What can happen as well is they can reduce it just for a couple of days, so it gets people interested in, and then they put the price back up and they fill it up that way. So it can be just tactically now and again. But what can happen as well, and what does happen all the time, is that people go to book and they think, no, I'll put it off. I'll leave it till my paycheck comes in at the end of the month.
Yeah, we do that all with flights as well.
Yep,
we do
and
it.
they go to book it, and it's gone up £300. And so it depends. I'd say the prices that are more likely to move and go up are during the school holidays. Those prices, they very rarely go down, and also Christmas time and holiday time. So when the main holidays are, that's when they're more likely to keep going up in price. So be wary of that.
So would your tip be that if you know you've got to travel in the summer holidays, you've got the kids to take away, is to book sooner rather than later and sort of get it all organised and booked?
Yeah, a lot of people ask me this all the time, and do you know what? It's down to your circumstances, and I can't make a decision like that on your behalf. But what I would say to you is, if you feel that the holiday that you're booking and looking at is you're comfortable with that price, and you think that's a good price, I feel that's a fair price, book it then, because it might go up. But it might go down. But if you thought it's like me selling you a cup, for instance, and saying it's £1, and you say, "Oh no, thank you, that's great, I appreciate that. That's worth £1." And then I reduce it down to 80p the next day, and you say, "Well, hang on a minute, but you thought it was worth £1 today."
Yeah.
So it's what you feel comfortable with, and if it's the date you want to go, if it's the destinations you want to go, book it.
Okay. Wonderful. Now we've got Sophrine, what a beautiful name, from Glasgow. Special diets on a cruise, because we know that cruising, well, for me, it's all about eating. So if you do have any dietary requirements, will they and can they be catered for?
They certainly can be catered for, and I've been on cruises with people with special diets. What you do is you just advise before you cruise, and once you do that, it can be gluten-free or even kosher and all those sort of meals. They can all be catered for, halal and all this. It can be catered for, but all we say is let the cruise lines know before you go, because obviously once you're out at sea, you can't really nip down the local shop and get something. So they have to know to get the stocks on board. But yes, tell them, and they can certainly cope with your diet. I'd be very surprised if you have a diet that a cruise line can't cope with.
Okie dokie. Now, Mavis from Southampton, thank you very much for your question, Mavis. We're a family of 3 adults, and they're going to require single rooms. So which cruise companies would meet their requirements? Because it's quite difficult, isn't it, to have single rooms? You end up paying supplements, etc.
You do end up paying supplements, and there are a couple of cruise lines that work better for single customers. For instance, Cruise and Maritime, who sail predominantly out of the UK, they have a lot of single cabins in one of their ships, and they have a 25% single supplement, which is a lot lower than a lot of the other cruise lines. Some cruise lines, like the Norwegian Epic, they have a lot of single cabins and a special single cabin area as well, with a lounge, so you can get to meet. Some other cruise lines, I'm thinking of something like Fred Olsen, they use it tactically to when they get into a late market. You talk about reducing holidays. Instead of reducing the price of the holidays, what they'll say is there's no single supplements. So what you're best doing is reading around, and quite a few P&O have just built their new Britannia. That's got a lot of new single cabins in. The problem what the cruise lines have is they have to give revenue for the space of the cabin, and of course if you've only got one person in it, you're only getting half the revenue it's like when you buy a hotel room. The hotel room's £50, but it's only me in it. Well, it's still £50.
Yeah.
So that's the sort of thing they're in. So it's there are single supplements. No single supplements out there. Just look for them.
Okay, so do your research. Now we've got Sandra from Manchester. Now this is a really interesting one, and as I was reading it, then I was thinking I hadn't thought about that. So she's going on a cruise over the next months, and it's going to take in a number of different countries. What does she do about money? I wouldn't have thought for one second. I'd have taken the wrong cash. I'd have just taken one currency. I'd have got it all wrong. So what do you do?
Well, depends where you're going. Of course, if you're cruising the Med, virtually everywhere takes euros. So you're okay with euros. Remember, on board, it's a cashless society. So when you first get on board the ship, you'll register a credit card or a debit card, or you can put a deposit an amount of money with the reception, and that'll you just pay with your room card. When you get to the different ports, I'd say if it's around the Mediterranean, it's mainly euro, so you're fine with them. If you're going to the Caribbean or something like that, US dollars will always get you everywhere. If you're going around the Baltics, there's quite a few different countries there with their own different currencies, like the kronas and things like this. But once again, everywhere will accept euros, except if you're going into Russia, and don't make the mistake of buying rubles, dollars.
Oh.
If you're going to Russia, if you're going to St. Petersburg, use dollars.
So dollars,
okay. Dollars to do for you. And of course, you can always use your card anywhere as well.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so let's move on now. Nikki from Mansfield. Now, this is nice. Her husband's booked her a cruise for next year. It's their first time. Is there any way of finding out about shore excursions and the cost of them? Because again, that's the thing that does add up. And what entertainment? So I think she wants to know what to look forward to more than anything. Yeah. And that's the nice thing about a holiday.
There's so much to look forward to. Starting off with the shore excursions, what will happen is the cruise line will send you a book before you go explaining all the different excursions. But there are other companies as well that do shore excursions as well. A lot of travel agents can book them before you go. The cruise lines, I'll be honest with you, it's a big source of income for them, the excursions. You can get them cheaper if you look around. For instance, if you want to go and have a look around, you're pulling into, I don't know, Lisbon or something like that, and you see an excursion for a trip around the city, it may be a lot cheaper to get one of the hop-on, hop-off tour buses. And I can guarantee you, if there's a cruise line pulled in to a port, at the other side of the gate, there will be a hop-on, hop-off tour bus, because, they're not going to put up, miss out on an opportunity like that. So the vast majority of ports, they're always there. So they're there. But there's other excursions that the cruise lines do, because they know that people keep going on the cruises, so they look for different excursions for them to do. And some things I've done in the past few months, I went on a rib boat around a fjord, which is absolutely fantastic, but you wouldn't be able to do that. You wouldn't be. The only people who do that is the cruise line, because they do it specifically because they know, all the normal excursions, people may have already done them all because they've been there. So they're always looking for different ones. We did an overnight tour stay in Copenhagen, and we did a meal in a restaurant with a ghost walk at the end of it, which was absolutely hilarious and really, really fun. So that was unusual. You wouldn't have been able to book that anywhere else. So some of them, I'd say, look around at the cruises. And the shore excursions as well. Ask the person you're booking it with, your cruise with, about excursions, and they'll certainly be able to give you good advice and help. On board, the entertainment on board, some cruises have what they call guest entertainers on, what they know about in advance and will advertise. So there may be special comedians on board, or some TV show like Strictly Come Dancing, or there may be someone from Britain's Got Talent on, or something like that. So there's the whole myriad of different cruises which are themed. But the great thing about it is when you turn up on a cruise, and the entertainment comes up, you go, wow. And that's it. The entertainment you'll just love.
Just jumping back to the excursions again, as a seasoned traveller, I know you are, would you suggest booking those ahead of time, whether it be through the company or through an independent company? Because you don't want to miss out, maybe? You
don't want. What can happen as well, especially when you get to places like St. Petersburg in Russia, is the popular excursions are booked out, and they do book out. So I'd say, once you've got your tickets, if you haven't already booked, book them then. Plan ahead. What I'd also say is, with excursions, it's a great way of seeing the place you're going to do, because sometimes you'll miss out on, if you just wander into a town by yourself, with a guidebook, you miss out. Where if you go with a guide, you'll see so much more. So I'd say book them before you go, certainly, because you'll get on board and a lot of them will be sold out. It's always the ones you want to go on that are sold out.
Yeah. So there you go, Nikki. Book ahead of time. That's John's tip. Now, we're just wrapping up, but very quickly, Jennifer from Hull, she's going on a cruise, 4 stops in India. She thinks she's going to need a visa. What's the easiest way of obtaining one?
She will need a visa. That's to go into India. And what I'd say is get a multi-entry one into India, because it's the same price as a single entry one. So therefore, that backs you up just in case you have to come in and out for any reason. So get the multi-entry one. Best thing to do is ask the people you're booking your cruise holiday with. They will know people who can arrange the visas for you. Generally, an Indian one is about £100, but there's also other places where you'll need entry for ESTAs, things like the United States, Canada, and even Turkey has one now, where you have to go online before you go. So what I'd say is check with the person you're booking your cruise with what visas you will need, and if you will need them, they will tell you, and therefore I wouldn't wait with that. I'd get that organised as soon as you can.
Wonderful. Okay, now we've run out of time, but we've had loads of questions. John from Liverpool, sorry we didn't get to you. Diane from South Wales, sorry, but next time. Okay, I think what we can take from this is be organised. Now, just a quick reminder about this. It's our first time guide to cruise holidays. It's absolutely free of charge. Just give us a call, 03330 032 216. Calls will be charged at standard national rates. Don't forget, you can also ask for a copy through our website, www.holidayandcruisechannel.co.uk, where you can also get in touch with your questions for future programmes. Okay, that's all we've got time for on today's edition of the Holiday and Cruise Clinic. My huge thanks to John Cooper. And thanks to you for watching. See you next time. Bye.